All right, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode. A good afternoon with Alpharonomy. I'm your host, Doc BOA. Today, I want to have a discussion with y'all about some things that I was blessed enough to know. Some of them I was told, and some of them God just put in my spirit. But these are 8 things that I stopped doing young that changed my life. And as I looked around at men who were doing these things, it affected their lives in a negative manner, and I was able to avoid a bunch of pitfalls. Now, I'm not saying I skated through life perfectly and didn't have any scars from it, but no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that some of these things, these are major things, and these things will set your development back by years, sometimes even decades, depending on what situations you end up in because you didn't stop doing these things. So, as an OG, it's only right for me to tell you guys the things that I stopped doing young that changed my life for the better and sometimes saved my life. Since I'm doing this, I do believe that I'll make the next episode 8 things I wish I had stopped doing because, as I stated, I didn't skate through perfectly, unscathed and unscarred. So, without further ado, before we get started, let me say this to you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you already know what you're going to get here. It's going to be phenomenal. Go ahead and subscribe so you won't have to try to remember it at the end of the show. Also, we do live streams on this channel 3 times a week. If you want to be a member of that live chat, they're all members only, so you can come into the live chat, and I got a special surprise for y'all with the way I'm going to start doing those shows. But without further ado, let's get into it. The number one thing that I stopped doing young that benefited my life tremendously is caring what others say or think about me. I stopped doing that really young because I thank my father for enforcing, which was really just allowing me to be myself. If I wanted to wear certain things, he let me wear them. If I wanted to, whatever my style was, then he let me wear that. Whatever I wanted to do, he supported that. He supported me being an individual. He didn't force me to live the way he would have lived and force me to do the things he wish he had done. In essence, he didn't live vicariously through me for the most part. And that helped me develop into the person that was gonna just be myself. I'm just gonna be who I am. I don't care what you say. I don't care what everyone else is doing. And even so much as once I grew older, I never wore Jordans. Everyone wore Jordans. And I noticed that everyone wore Jordans. I thought it was weird how I could go into school and everyone would have on the exact same pair of shoes. They when they came out, like they'd come out, one pair would come out and everyone would have them on. And I just always wanted to be an individual, and that developed this mindset that it doesn't matter what you think about me, I'm not hearing it. It doesn't matter what you say about me, I'm not knowing it. And that helped me tremendously through life because that helped me make decisions that others were afraid to make. That helped me take risk that others were more concerned about what people would say about them if they took that risk rather than the results of that risk. And it helped me do some things. It helped me travel more. It helped me meet newer people or better people. It helped me capitalize on some opportunities. Man, listen, that's why I'm doing content right now because of that thing that I learned young when I stopped caring what people said or thought about me. So now I'm not saying because I didn't wear Jordans, I wore buddies. No, I wasn't that far along now where I was just gonna go wear Walmart shoes. But let's say when Jordans, everyone was wearing Jordans. Well, when the first AIs came out, the Allen Iversons, I was the only one with them. And so I show up somewhere. Everyone knew what they were because when you went into the Foot Locker or whatever our foot store was, our footwear store was, you see the prime shoe of the season or of the week or the month was at the top of the rack. There were racks of shoes, and then there were 2 slots at the top. There was the Jordan, and then there was whatever shoe was competing. And so you had to see it because the Jordan was up at the top, and the AI was right next to it. And so everyone knew what the AI was. They just all chose the Jordan, even though that first Allen Iverson shoe looked better than the Jordan that it was competing against. And so I got it. The number 2 thing that I stopped doing young that benefited my life tremendously is worrying about name brand designer labels. Now, besides the shoes, I was going to do the shoes. Now, the environment I was in, you had to do the shoes. But I only did the shoes if they matched what I was wearing. You know what I mean? I didn't just buy them because they were there, because they were a name brand. Hey, there's a new Jordan out. Let me go get it. Hey, there's a new Air Force One out. Let me go get it. No, if I didn't have something that I wanted to wear with it or that I would wear with it, I didn't get it. So I'm not saying I didn't wear name brand shoes at all. Yes, everything I wore, footwear was name brand, but it wasn't the most expensive. I didn't care about wearing the Jordan Nike. I wear Nike. Now it's one of the original Air Max 95s wear, one of the originals, because I always saw a color that matched what I already had. So those labels, when you look at what they cost now, look at the labels people are naming now. Look at the amount of money that women spend on handbags. Look at the amount of money that guys spend on shoes just because they got a red bottom on them. Look at the amount of money that people who really can't even afford to spend on fashion, spend on designer. If you call it designer, I'm not wearing it. And that saved me so much money at times in life when I was making a lot of money, and at times in life when I was making a little less money. It always saved me money and time because I didn't look at a fashion and say, I got to get it no matter what it costs. I always had a financial limit I was willing to spend on clothes, shoes, accessories. I didn't wear a lot. I bought my first chain, and after that, I never bought another one. I've literally only purchased one chain and piece in my life. It was a Cuban link with a diamond encrusted dollar sign on it. And the thing is, the attention it drew to me, like everyone noticed it. Everyone saw it. I saw the jackers, looking at me sideways. I was rolling with guys, so I wasn't concerned about them, but I saw them looking at me sideways, and it just was so noticeable. I got attention from girls and all of that just because of that. Attention that I don't want. I don't want that attention. And so that's a bonus thing I'll give you. That's not one of the 8, but I stopped being an attention seeker long, long ago. So long ago, I can't even remember ever wanting attention. I always shied away from attention. I wanted the success. I wanted the notoriety in the small circles where it mattered. I didn't need the whole world to know that I was a genius. Only the people who mattered, only the people who looked at that as such a positive thing that they were trying to see, where they could plug me in, how they could benefit my progress. Other than that, I never wanted the notoriety, the fame. I never wanted it. It was never a big deal to me because it means absolutely nothing. So, to get back into what I was saying, worrying about name designer labels is such a trap because if something's popular this year and you buy a closet full of it, and if it's not popular next year, then you got a closet full of money. I don't look at it as clothes. I look at a closet full of money that you can't get refunded. It's a loan that you made to these people. You're never going to get it back. They're not going to pay you back. And if they did pay you back, they pay you their cost for it. And it would be so minimal. And that's one of the major things that I learned young, that everything has a markup. And when something has a markup, you don't know what the markup is. But when you find out the markup on some of these goods and services, you're like, no way. There is no way I'm gonna do that. Now I'm not gonna share the markup on anything here. Maybe I will on Patreon sometime in the near future because the markup on some of these things is exorbitant to say the least, and just downright outlandish to say the most. The third thing, and this is a very important one, the third thing I stopped doing young is taking authentic relationships for granted. I noticed young how to decipher between people who mean me good and people who want me to do them good. Now they all look the same in your life on the surface, but when you take a deeper look at people, then you come to the realization that some people really are just around to see how they can benefit. And in order to benefit, they know they have to be on your good side. So they act like they're friends. They act like they're supportive. They act like they care about what's going on with you. But in reality, they're just trying to see what they can get, whether now or in the future. They're trying to build a connection that eventually they plan to be one-sided. And that's one thing that I'm glad I learned young. Like, I stopped taking authentic relationships for granted. Everyone in my immediate circle, I've known them for 20 years. Everyone. There's no one in my immediate circle that I haven't known for 20 years. Now, my circle, when we're talking about extended circle, the people who are connected to the people I'm connected with, yeah, my circle is phenomenal. There's a bunch of successful people a bunch of famous people, a bunch of very important people in cultures and in societies and government. That there's a bunch of very important people, but my immediate circle, I've known them all for over 20 years because those are the authentic relationships. Those are the people who I know what to expect from. Those are the people who I know their strengths, I know their weaknesses, I know their interests, I know the things they're disinterested in. I know what buttons make them go one way or the other, and they know this thing about me as well. So those are the relationships that I never took for granted because those are the relationships that sustain over time. Can you imagine knowing somebody for 20 years and no matter what happens, y'all never lose touch for 20 years? You never lose touch. No matter what happens, no matter where you go, no matter you never lose touch for 20 years. And whenever you're together, it's always as if you've been living right next door to one another for all these years. Those relationships are why you don't have to be running around chasing validation, trying to meet new people all the time, letting new people into your realm when they haven't earned it because you have a barometer by which to judge them. Hey, listen, this is what it takes to be in my circle because I have people in my circle who did that. See, if you don't have anyone in your circle who has stood the test of time, then you don't know what to look for. You don't know what a person should be willing to invest into their connection with you in order for it to become that type of friendship. So I take authentic relationships very, very seriously. I always have, and I still do. And that way I've been able to cut people off once I realize their relationship isn't authentic. There's a very thin line because these two groups of people do exactly the same things until it's crunch time. When it's crunch time, when there's an opportunity to get over, the authentic people don't get over. When there's an opportunity to take advantage, the authentic people don't do that. When there's an opportunity to lie and not be found out, the authentic people don't do that. The authentic people are the authentic people, and they've been that way since you've known them. Value those relationships because they only come, once in a while. I say that circle, but there's about 3 people in it. There's 3 people in my circle that I've known for 20 years and we're tight. There's a bunch of people I've known for 20 years, but there's only 3 people that I've known for 20 years and we are tight. Tight to the point where if I call them right now, even if they can't answer, they'll call me back immediately. And the first question out of their mouth is, man, what's up, man? Everything good? Their first question is concern for what's going on my end. And it's the same with them. They call me, even right now, doing this show right here. If they call me, but they know my show time, so they wouldn't call me during the show. I let them know my show times. So these are the things that you guys have to understand. Like, you must value these things because if you don't, you will never forgive yourself for not valuing these things. Now, the 4th thing that I stopped doing young is taking responsibility for issues that I didn't cause in people's lives. Hey, everyone goes through things, right? I've gone through things, you've gone through things, we all do. But who's taking responsibility for your things when you go through them? You. You know why? Because you're not relying on anyone else to take care of them. You know you got to take care of them. So you can't take care of your own issues or be prepared to at a moment's notice when you're so concerned with taking care of everyone else's issues. You have to understand that it's people's responsibility to make their life better. Now, I'm not saying you don't help people. I'm saying you don't take responsibility for people's issues. You don't take responsibility for people's problems if you didn't cause them. If you're not responsible for the problem, then don't hold yourself responsible for the solution. You have enough things to be responsible for in your own life. You have enough things to fix and make right in your own life. You have enough things to focus on to make sure they stay right in your own life. You have enough things to focus on to make sure you don't lose sight of your goal in your own life. So you don't have the resources, you don't have the desire, you don't have the insight, you don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the ability to be responsible for issues in people's life that you didn't cause. Now, you could do random things like you see people giving out turkeys for Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's a random thing. That's not taking responsibility for people's issues. That's giving back and letting people know that you care at strategic times. I'm not saying that. That's almost like community service. That's like community activism. I'm saying personally, you're taking responsibility for people's issues in their personal lives that you had nothing to do with. Nothing to do with. And I stopped doing that. I don't know if I've ever done that, to be honest with you. That's one of those things I just never wanted to do. And I'm not telling you that I know that it's the thing to do because I did it. I'm telling you that I know it's the thing to do because I've seen people who didn't do it. I've seen people who took responsibility for everyone else's issues, everyone else's problems. You know what those people do? Those people end up financially destitute. Those people end up mentally disturbed. Those people end up emotionally scarred. And those people end up physically exhausted because it's a lot to do to take care of your own life and then be responsible for everyone else's issues as well. It's too much to do. There is no peace in that. And that's a bonus that I'll give you connected to this. I also prioritized my peace young. I started prioritizing my peace at 22 years old. Now, have I always protected it the way I should? No, I didn't. But once I realized that not only did I need to value it, I needed to protect it, that's when the switch flipped and I started to protect my peace. But you can't have that peace if you're taking responsibilities for issues in other people's lives that you didn't cause. I mean, that don't have anything to do with you sometimes. Not only did you not cause them, you didn't even know there was an issue until they told you. And then here you are to save the day. Stop being a superhero. If your cape don't make you fly, then you're not a superhero. You're just somebody with a towel wrapped around your neck. So don't do it. Don't take that responsibility. Because there's going to be some times where you can help people and it's going to be expensive or it's going to take a lot of time. And that's cool. If you have those resources, you could do that. But do it when you feel it in your heart, when you think you should, when the Most High puts on your spirit to do it. That's when you do it. You don't do it just by default because, you think you have it and you think you should and you think you can. Don't do it. It's one of the worst mistakes you can make. It'll bankrupt you so quickly. And here's the thing that I always tell people. If someone needs to borrow $1,000 from me, I need to just give them 500. Because if they need to borrow 1,000, they're not going to be able to pay me back 1,000. And I can't afford to just give them 1,000. But I will give them half of that since I know they can't pay me back. You understand? Or 250 or whatever it is. But you can't allow yourself to be in a situation where you're letting people take advantage of you because that's all that will turn into. Number 5, not planning for retirement. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't start this as young as I should have. I really didn't. Planning for retirement is the most important thing you can do when you're young because you don't want to go the prototypical route of working until you're 62 years old. Let's say you start working at 22. Really working at 22. You get your degree or you get your, whatever certificate you're going to get, whatever license you're going to get, and you start working at 22. If you retire at 62, you've worked 40 years doing the same thing. And you got to hope you got enough retirement left. Well, if you start young, not worrying about having expensive car notes, not worrying about having expensive rent or expensive mortgages, not worrying about having, credit card debt, minimizing your student loan debt if you can, or paying it off as quickly as possible. Doing these things, man, this will help you understand that if you spend all of your money young, you're going to keep working when you're old. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know about you. I don't want to be 65 years old having to get up and go to somebody's job, dog. I don't want to do that. Like the thought of that makes me miserable. I was in Academy Sporting Goods once, and I was looking for some fishing line, right? The fish were biting so good. I mean, I spooled all my line also, but I need some lighter line. So I ran to Academy right quick, and there was an older guy. Now he looked to be about 79. And man, he was just shuffling along so slowly. He couldn't even he couldn't even take steps. He was just, doing that old man shuffle when they walk like this. And man, I looked at him and I said, man, there's no way. It was like 10 a.m. I was like, man, there's no way, man. This guy should be in here doing this, man. Like, even if you're bored at home, man, that's not what you want to be doing. Go fishing, go dig in the yard, get you a dog or something. And I thought about that, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. That spooked me. It made me realize that I didn't start early enough. Even though I didn't start early enough on my retirement, man. Listen, those years will roll up on you quickly. I promise you, they'll roll up on you quickly. And before you know it, man, you're starting to look at a time. You're like, man, you know what I'm saying? A couple of decades here, it'd be time to retire. 15 years be time to retire. It just rolls up on you. And I want y'all to understand that. And I want y'all to keep understanding that you have to take advantage of your opportunities when you're young. You have to take advantage of your opportunity when you're young to take care of yourself when you're old. No one's gonna take care of an old man but the young version of that man. You know, no one's gonna take care of 75, 80-year-old BOA except this BOA that's right here in front of you. Nobody's gonna take care of the 82-year-old version of you except the 32-year-old version of you. So you better start taking care of him right now. Better start doing it. The number 5 thing, the number 6 thing that I stopped doing young is chasing get rich quick schemes. Building wealth takes time. It takes a lot of time. It takes years, decades even. It takes years to build wealth. Most wealthy people didn't become wealthy until their late 40s, early 50s. It takes years to build wealth. I'm talking about years of discipline to build wealth, not just years of playing around. And I'm talking about and not having a plan. Not just years of playing around and not having a plan. It takes years, many years, to build wealth. You know, unless you're like a one-hit wonder and you can win the lottery or something, or you got this invention that takes. Otherwise, man, you got to work. You got to work very hard. You got to work hard to save, invest. You got to work hard to, minimize your unnecessary expenditures. You got to live a pretty frugal life. And if you don't start doing that young, you're going to be in crunch mode when you get older, man. I mean, you're going to be scrambling, making decisions about, now how do I get out of this debt because it's almost retirement time now. You got to really take a chance, bro. You got to really build yourself in the way you want to live. And you got to start doing that now, man. You can't worry about trying to get rich quick. Get rich quick schemes never made anybody rich. If somebody gets rich off a get rich quick scheme, it was because they were running a get rich quick scam. You can't get rich off a scheme. You can't get rich off a scam. But at what cost? What lives are you affecting? How many people are you hurting to get rich on your scam? It's better to just take your time, build your wealth the slow, steady, but ready way. You understand? Just do it like that. The number 7 thing that I stopped doing young is carrying dead weight. Listen, everyone needs a hand sometime. Everyone needs some support. Everyone needs help. But I will not be the one that people get to lean on and rely on all the time. They won't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. Now, I've done some of those things in the past where I've just did things for people on a regular basis. People were able to rely on me to do something for them regularly. You know what I mean? And I looked at myself and I said, man, why are you doing this? Who's going to be there for you when you retire? Who's going to be there? No one. Who's going to be there for you if you get sick and you can't work from trying to grind and take care of all these people and all the stress that comes with that, being relied on by all these different people? I said, no one. So I said, man, I'm not carrying any dead weight. Any weight that doesn't contribute to the betterment of me or my life, I am not going to carry it. I already have enough things to carry. You have too many things to carry through life. And you got to be trying to figure out what you need to put down to pick up the new thing. You can't just keep adding stuff to the load. At a certain point, you have so many things, you got to give up something to get something. And it takes a lot of focus, determination, and drive to figure that out. It's not something you just luck up on. No, you don't luck up on that, man. It takes a lot of planning to live a life that's beneficial to the man that you will be. Because it's a lot of years to dedicate to something. And you don't know when that time is going to come or when it's going to end. But you got to do it anyway. It's one of those just in case scenarios. If you live to be 100 years old, guess what? You don't want to be struggling for 40 years because you didn't do what you needed to do. So when you retired at 62, you weren't ready. No, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to live a totally different life. So stop carrying dead weight, man. Like if you carry enough dead weight, then people will not even try to get down. Carry enough people. And then you get tired. They won't even get down there, hold on to you. They'll weigh you down to the ground because you have decided that you're going to carry dead weight. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't carry anything dead. Anything that doesn't have life needs to be buried. So don't carry dead weight. All right. And the 8th and final thing that I stopped doing young, and I'm glad I did, is not putting God first and myself second. Now, see, we all know, put God first in all you do. We all know that God comes first. But who comes second? You got to come second in your own life. I don't care who else you're talking about. I don't care what you're talking about your parents. I don't care what you're talking about your wife. I don't care what you're talking about your kids. You got to come second in your life because you're the direct liaison to God. You can't allow anyone to infiltrate that. So it's impossible to put anyone before you and still be on the path you're supposed to be on because you'll be blind. You can't see where God is trying to get you to go at that point. So don't forget that. We focus on God. Yes, you should. You should love the God. You should love the Lord with all your heart. But you should really, really care about yourself. You know, I tell you all the time, I give all my love to God and I let him dole it out to the people that need it. Well, you know what? I get a lot of it back from him. You know what I'm saying? He enhances me with self-love. And I want you to experience the same, but you got to put God first, put yourself second. If you don't put yourself second, whoever you put second is between you and God. You just chose to put someone closer to God than you are in your own life. Don't do that. It doesn't make sense. I don't want that for any of you. So what I want y'all to understand is this. Stop doing these things right now. If you haven't stopped, stop doing them. Even if you don't want to, man, I'm not going to dedicate myself to that. Stop doing them for 6 months. Like literally, stop doing them for 6 months and you'll see the result. You're going to get a phenomenal result. And if you already have stopped doing these things, then you know I'm being honest about the result. You know it's a phenomenal result in your life. So that's what I want y'all to do. All right? All right, I'm going to get on out of here, man. I appreciate y'all listening and hope y'all subscribe, man, and like the video. If you got something from it, go ahead and like it, man. If you learned something, then great. Tell me what you learned in the comment and tell me what your experience is down in the comments. Otherwise, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.